section this evening, please be sure to give your name so that those that are responsible for keeping attendance, as it were, know who it was that was in attendance. So we want to be sure to give you credit for joining us this evening. And it is 7 o'clock on the dot, and we'll go ahead and get started. So once again, welcome to our 7-week look at the benefits of volunteering. And my name is Pastor Duane Price, and I'll be helping us to take an in-depth look at how volunteering can help not only others, but help you as well, right? And this week, we're going to take a look at the social and occupational or vocational benefits of volunteering. And we have a lot of information to cover this evening. Unlike in previous weeks where we were able to comfortably finish in 30 minutes, this may go a bit longer, and therefore I don't want to tarry on any particular topic or embellish too long. And you may want to take notes to be sure that you get all the information that you may choose to use or reference or source at a later time. Amen? So let's go ahead and get started. Why volunteer? Well, the benefits of volunteering can last a lifetime, not only for those who you are helping, but for you as well. So if you're on the fence about diving into a new volunteer experience, or you have doubts about whether or not volunteering is right for you, you might find yourself surprised at just how much you can gain from the experience. And let's look at the many benefits of volunteering and how to basically get involved. Amen? Well, Winston Churchill once said, "You make a living by what you get. You make a life by what you give." I'm going to repeat that. You make a living by what you get. You make a life by what you give. So let's look at that for a minute. We are all in the habit of exchanging our time for money, right? We work and we get paid for what we do. Whether you work for a business, work for a government entity, run your own business, it doesn't really matter. Your plan, right, is to have money to show for your efforts. You put effort in and you expect to get money out. So if you're on a budget, you'll try to make sure that you operate at a profit and not at a loss, which means you make more than you shell out or spend, right? Now, sometimes we're hit by a cut in pay as opposed to an increase, right? When that happens, it becomes even harder to make more than you spend. This is because when the pay goes down, our bills don't respond in kind and go down with the compensation. So we often have to make difficult decisions about what things we're going to have to do without, right? Certain luxuries that we may have been in the habit of having. So instead of going to Starbucks every day, you may have to brew your own coffee and carry it in your thermos. Instead of eating out every day, you may have to take a lunch with you to work. And those individual decisions on spending less all work together and go a long way toward helping you to operate at a profit instead of at a loss. But Churchill said, we make a life by what we give, right? This means we have to figure out a way to find some time out of our busy schedule to give of ourselves if we want our lives to have real meaning. See, we could just selfishly, basically like some person once said, get all you can all you get, and spoil the rest, right? Well, we could selfishly live our lives that way, but there's no real gratification, long-term or lasting gratification in that. It might feel good for a minute because you make a lot of money in the process. But what often happens is sometimes you have to take advantage of folks. Sometimes you have to step on people to get ahead. Sometimes you have to say no to helping people that actually needed our help, right? And that's not a good thing. We want to be available to help people when we can. So volunteering means giving of your time and your abilities to aid others, and usually a nonprofit organization, without an expectation of financial compensation in return. So simply put, volunteering is service to your community, as it were, whatever that community might be. It may be a social network, it may be a group that you're affiliated with, it actually may be your geographic community, but you're giving your time to help out, right? Now, many nonprofit organizations rely on volunteers to accomplish day-to-day objectives and to reach long-term goals. Miles for Migrants, for example, relied solely on volunteer labor for their first few years of operation. And most nonprofits would not be able to do the important work they do without the power of volunteer service. So nothing gets done by one person alone, right? Which means we often have to link arms with folks and band together in an effort to make the changes that we want to see in the world around us. So volunteerism has indeed been the fuel to the fires of change, both on international and local fronts. So internationally, for example, there's groups that look for volunteers that want to make a difference overseas. I had a friend, for example, a very close associate of mine that I worked with. He still works with me at Verizon. He invested 2 years of his life in the Peace Corps. And that actually went a very long way, not only to helping him to become the person that he is today, but it also enhanced his career. And we'll talk more about that as we get further into the material. So volunteering also, giving your time, your skills, and resources is a very powerful way to make a difference, to help others, and as it turns out, to enhance your own well-being, right? So let's look at 7 of the social benefits of volunteering, right? So while you're not going to get paid for community service, volunteering comes with a lot of benefits to boot. Donating your time, your energy, and possibly your resources can be just as rewarding for you as it is for those you help. And here are some ways that volunteering can affect you in a positive way. Number 1, it helps you to meet new people and build a sense of community. And everybody loves new friends, right? Especially loyal friends, folks that you can meet and then actually incorporate them into your social network, as it were. And I don't mean social networking like Facebook or Instagram. I mean your network of friends that you actually can communicate with in a meaningful way, folks that you can rely on to help and assist you should you ever need help or assistance. Like if you have a flat tire, who would you call, right? If you're in a bind and you need childcare, who could you count on to assist with that, right? And would they have their hand out looking to be paid, or would it be a pleasure for them to assist you, right? So being a part of a team with a common goal will help form bonds with strangers that can be life-changing. Volunteering inherently means helping people. And that means you'll be creating meaningful relationships with others and increasing your meaningful social interactions. Volunteering also provides a unique opportunity. It connects people with specific shared values. I'm going to say that again. It connects people with specific shared values. So people that think the way you think, right, that like the things that you like, that value the things that you value, are the type of folks that you'll want to work alongside as you donate your time. So in addition to having shared concerns for children, sustainable living, healthy eating, or whatever project you might be working on, volunteers are also people who share things like a willingness to step outside their comfort zone, an openness to spending time on a community effort, or a proclivity for engaging in team-oriented activities, and a desire to contribute to the well-being of others. All right. You are sure to meet people and make new friends that share common interests, values, and outlooks. Building a community in which you are all working together toward common future goals will nurture your sense of belonging and purpose and expand your support system. The social benefit of volunteering grows into a bunch of other benefits that we'll continue to explore in this list. Now, the second social benefit is you gain knowledge and understanding of other ways of life. So now you're expanding your own horizons, right? Volunteering might take you to a new part of your community that you've never seen before. Volunteering programs can give you the opportunity to bring people into your social network that you wouldn't otherwise get to meet and learn from those who come from different walks of life. And that diversity is invaluable, right? This experience can expand your understanding of others who are different from you. And different doesn't mean better or worse. It's just different. That's what diversity is. It's taken from the root word diverse, right? Which just means different. Doesn't mean a bad different. It's just different. And we need people of different walks of life, right? In order to keep our minds open, in order to help us understand what the world around us really looks like. And the world doesn't look just like us, or exclusively, I should say, like us, right? The world is multicolored, it's multinational, it's multiracial, it's multicultural, right? And there's lots of different faiths and religions around the world. There are people that believe different things from what we believe, right? So it's important for us to understand that there are differences out there, and we need to develop an appreciation and an understanding of what those differences are. Now, learning about cultures and ways of life that are different from yours, right, will increase your social flexibility and expand your worldview. It will also raise awareness of the issues that other people deal with and will increase important social skills like teamwork and, listen to this, empathy. It helps you to empathize with what other people are facing, what other people are going through, the challenges that they encounter that we may never see. Amen? Now, the third benefit socially is that we gain a sense of purpose and become happier. What an amazing reason to do something. Who doesn't want to be happy? I know I do, right? Volunteering has been shown to give you a sense of accomplishment and to increase overall feelings of happiness. Now, how is that, you might ask? Well, throughout your life, you've developed social and professional skills that promote your personal achievement. Using those skills for a wider communal impact can be even more fulfilling. And volunteering will enrich your life and give you a broader purpose and can give you a boost of motivation. And researchers also posit that it's the social connections in your life it's the social connections that you make while volunteering that helps to increase your feelings of happiness. So feeling like you're in a purposeful role in your community will make you feel happy. Volunteering is indeed a known mechanism to help fight off all sorts of mental issues like depression, anxiety, stress, and anger. And we talked about a lot of those last week when we looked at the medical benefits of volunteering, the health benefits. Amen. Number 4, it helps you to boost your self-esteem. That's right. Spending time as a volunteer has been shown to improve the way you view yourself. The more opportunities you take to learn new skills and gain knowledge, the more fully you'll develop as a person. And what safer place to develop those skills than in a context of serving other people? Isn't that wonderful? Stepping outside of your comfort zone and building new skills is really the best way to develop your self-esteem. Volunteering will increase your sense of pride, and thus your self-confidence will skyrocket. When you challenge yourself through volunteering and receive appreciation from others and affirmation from others, right? It can make you feel better emotionally and mentally. And it'll also give you more boldness and courage to try more things, right? Once you've taken these first few steps and they were rewarded with praise and thanks, and thankfulness, then you'll say, hey, maybe I could do a little bit more. So now you're starting to really get your feet under you, or like the sailors say, to get your sea legs, right? You're starting to get, really get some momentum and get the show on the road. Plus, who has time to think negative thoughts about yourself while you're out saving the world, right? Now, number 5 is you can advance your career by improving job prospects through volunteering. So gear up, guys. This is a big one. Volunteering will offer you skills that can be used throughout your career development. You remember the guy that I had mentioned, the one who had spent time in the Peace Corps? He actually was able to get an advanced position on one of our sales teams, primarily because of the experiences that he saw and developed while he was working overseas. So it's a beautiful thing when you really stop and think about, well, what does it help me, occupationally? How can this help me get a job? You'd be surprised what skills you develop, how your eyes can be opened to the world around you, right? When you're willing to take on additional roles and do some things outside of what it is that you do for money. So if you're wanting to change to a new career, especially a new environmental or social impact job, right? Volunteering in that new field can help you to develop the skills and the knowledge that you need. Notice what I said, volunteering in the field that you're considering. Don't just apply for a job in something you have no experience in. Why would you be a good choice? Why would they be the lucky ones and come across the person who just magically ascertains everything that is needed in order to do this role? Why not gear yourself up in a powerful way and actually volunteer in this arena for a time to build some momentum, get some skills under your belt, and now you really understand what this thing is all about. So when time comes to apply for a job, you've got 2 legs up on the competition. 1, you know the material, you know what this job is all about, and 2, you volunteered your time, right? And that shows a want to that a lot of other job candidates cannot bring to the table. Amen. So when you have a volunteering experience to add to your resume, you stand out over other job candidates who don't take the time to give back to society. Volunteering highlights your character, your passion, and your determination. So through your volunteer experiences, you have a chance to show that you're interested in things bigger than just yourself, right? And you're willing to take action to make the changes you want to see in the world. And that will always help you to shine head and shoulders above the competition. Plus, volunteering can also give you a better understanding of the issues that you're working with and discover where there are gaps in the field. This knowledge can only prepare you to enter a new field of work, or for those who have an entrepreneurial spirit, volunteering may lead to developing your next business idea, or wait for it, you ready? Start a nonprofit of your own. If there's a volunteer opportunity that you're passionate about, but it doesn't exist, create it. What's to say you can't do that? Nothing whatsoever. Our God is a big God, and he will create, like it says in the Bible, your gifts will make room for you. Amen. Now, number 6, you accrue the health benefits of volunteering. Yes, it's true. There are many physical benefits that come from volunteering, and most important is that it can reduce stress, which helps you socially. Spending meaningful time with others can reduce stress and the health effects it has on our bodies. Amen. Reduced stress translates into several physical health benefits. You'll sleep better, you'll get sick less often, you'll prevent heart disease. And in fact, some studies have even found lower mortality rates in volunteers versus non-volunteers in older adults. Isn't that amazing, right? Volunteering could actually extend your life. Now, this makes sense because as we give attention to others, we take our attention off of our own problems and concerns, which is scriptural, right? Look not every man on his own things, but look every man on the things of others, right? It can also put our stresses into perspective and feel more gratitude in our day-to-day lives. Isn't that something? Helping somebody else could remind us of what we need to be thankful for, right? Volunteer work can also be an outlet for the frustrations you feel about certain issues and will leave you with a sense of urgency and empowerment. Worried about climate change? Do something about it. Isn't that amazing? You can. You can do something. It also increases your brain function, right? Every volunteer opportunity has its own set of tasks, and some of those might require you to learn new skill sets and challenge yourself. This means you'll be keeping your brain busy and you'll be keeping your brain limber and active. That's a good thing, right? Certainly better than vegging out in front of Laverne and Shirley, right? I'd much rather have my mind working, doing something productive than just sit in front of a TV shoving in chips, right? Volunteering has been shown to increase your ability for problem solving, increase your long-term and short-term memory. These are good things, saints, and reduce your risk of developing age-related issues such as Alzheimer's disease. So it's time to get started, and don't let anyone tell you it's too late in life to make a difference. You can always add value, no matter what age you are. Amen? All right. Now let's look at some of the pros and cons of volunteering. Well, the pros are you're going to meet new people and develop lasting relationships. That's a good thing. You're going to increase your happiness and you'll have better mental health. That's a good thing, right? You'll learn new skills and increase your brain function and self-esteem. That's a good thing. You'll stand out on your job applications and further your career. That's a good thing. You decrease stress and accrue other health benefits. That's good too. And you do good in the world and help make a difference about the things that really matter to you. That's good too. Now, these next few things might be considered as cons. It can be time consuming, right? And for some of us who don't really know how to say no or know where to draw the line so that we can have balance in our lives, that could be a bad thing, right? And by the way, no is a healthy word. It's okay to say no, right? When it really comes to deciding between volunteering and spending time with your family, volunteering and spending time with God, right? You want to be sure that you have balance in your life, but that balance can't be there when volunteering supersedes things that are really more important. And your family is more important. Your walk with God is more important. Amen. Now, some tasks can be repetitive and monotonous depending on the volunteer role. So that's also a possible con, right? And it might take multiple attempts to find the right fit for you. That's not necessarily a con. It just teaches you to deal with, well, how do I understand this whole concept of I'm donating my time and they would rather see me doing something different, or I'm possibly getting turned down or referred to somebody else when I'm here trying to volunteer. How do you get put out of a job where they're not even paying you, right? You're wondering how does that work, right? Well, it is possible that you might have to try a few different avenues before you find out what you're really passionate about. And that's what should drive you in your search is where's your passion? What really gets you up in the morning? What keeps you up late nights just dreaming about it? What would you do for free if your bills were paid, right? And that's really what should drive the discussion. Amen? So getting started on your volunteer journey. So let's say you've made up your mind to volunteer. What now, right? Well, one of the beauties of volunteering is that there are endless ways you can get involved and make a difference. So the thing is you won't know which is right for you until you get out in the community and get started, right? And there's a key to accruing, all these benefits of volunteering. And that key is to really find something you like in a community that you love. It's no rocket science to that. It's no cracking a code to find that out. Something you like, community you love. I think that's the place for me. Amen. And you would want to start and do some research, right? And check online to look for things like healthcare, mental health, sports, politics, childhood development. There's a lot of opportunity out there for you to consider. And you would want to evaluate what is your passion and then find out, well, in light of my passion, how can I get involved? How can I make a difference that actually helps other people in a meaningful way? Amen. All righty. So these are some of the things that you'll want to consider as you try to find that thing that's right for you, right? First thing is time. First and foremost, consider how much time you can give. There's no competition in volunteering, or at least there shouldn't be, right? If you can only give an hour a month, that's a start. That's great. And that is an additional hour a month that your community will benefit from that it otherwise wouldn't have, because now you're there for that hour, right? So when volunteering is part of a team, you should make sure you can commit the time that you're promising. If you're volunteering to do things like online marketing for the nonprofit, then don't require working directly with others. Make sure that you are upfront about your skill levels, upfront about your abilities, and upfront about your availability. This will ensure that you don't feel stretched too thin, which often results in burnout. And that's what we want to avoid, is that feeling of being taken advantage of or feeling like we're being used. Amen. So making reasonable time frames will help you settle in for the long term. And being upfront about your time constraints will help you avoid disappointing anyone that might be counting on you and your volunteer efforts to make a difference in their organization. If they need more people, then they need to find more folks instead of trying to milk you for more than you're able to give. And it's not their fault. They just need what they need. And if you don't indicate their limitations on your resourcefulness, they won't know. They'll never know, right? Another is physical limitations. You want to consider your physical capabilities. Do you have constraints that'll make certain tasks different? If you're a particularly small person or slightly built, do you want to volunteer something that's going to require lifting 100 pounds? That's just not a good match for your skills. So you want to be honest with yourself and honest with the folks that you're going to be helping about what you are comfortably able to accomplish. Amen. Next is you want to consider your skill set. So you want to ask yourself what skills or experience could be helpful to the nonprofit that I'm working with, right? If it's a typing job and you can't type, that's going to be a problem. If on the other hand, it's a typing job and you're an excellent typist, now that's a boon. It's a real benefit that you bring to the table by indicating, hey, here are some skills that I have. I'm good at typing. I'm good at public speaking. I'm good at organizing. You know what I'm saying? Whatever that might be, just let them know what your skills are, and they will pay off huge for the organization and for yourself. Also, you want to be honest about your interests. You don't want to try and volunteer at a place where the interests really don't do it for you, right? If you're not that passionate about animals, then why go to a shelter? If you're not that passionate about healthcare, then don't be a candy striper. You want to be sure that there's a match right? For your interest, not just your skills, the things that really are of interest to you versus the job that you'll be doing, right? Another question is, should you volunteer locally or should you volunteer abroad? Do you think you might have an interest in working outside your home country? Do you have the time and finances to travel? Because they're not going to give you a travel package. If you're trying to volunteer away from home, you have to get there the best way you can. Are you able to not only make that commitment, but then follow through on what you said you do, right? Or would you rather stay close to home where you might not have to spend money in order to be a blessing to others, right? These are things that you would need to consider and want to evaluate carefully as you decide, what is my geographic scope? What's the range where I could actually be effective in being a benefit or a blessing to other folks, right? Now, let's look at the occupational benefits of volunteering. So you put a lot into a job hunt, right? You tweak your resume, you polish your LinkedIn profile, you research companies, you brush up on your interview skills. But what if I told you that there's something missing and something big, right? Something that'll make you way more likely to actually land the job that you crave and covet. Well, it's possible that you're probably wondering, I should say, what this magical secret of success is, right? Well, it's one word: volunteering. So before you roll your eyes and dismiss me and say, this guy is off his tree, right? Just some cheesy do-gooder trying to brown nose, right? Hear me out. This is more than just your opportunity to do something great for your community. It can also have a huge impact, not only on your job search, but on your skills and on your passion and your demonstration of your passion for what it is that you say you want to do occupationally, right? So the proof is in the pudding, and here are 5 benefits that volunteering can have on your career. First, it looks good on your resume, right? So let's start with the most obvious one first. If there's one point that you can't refute, it's that volunteering looks great on a resume. It says that you were willing to do for free what some people struggle to do for money, right? After all, when's the last time you heard somebody complain about a person being too helpful or too community-minded? Never, right? So I'm sure that the skills listed on your resume are nothing short of impressive. I'm sure you got a great resume, right? I'm sure it really paints a great picture of you. But when you're willing to use those competencies to help with a deserving cause, even when there's really nothing in it for you, makes you look not only qualified, but caring and conscientious. And who would want somebody that's merely qualified when they can get additional benefits out of their candidate as well, right? Secondly, it presents an opportunity to meet new people. So no, networking doesn't just need to be done on LinkedIn, right? Or through a social networking platform, right? Or even at a formal networking event like a Chamber of Commerce mixer. And it definitely doesn't need to be forced, uncomfortable, or filled with awkward pauses. So this is where volunteering comes in. It's an easy and completely natural way to meet some new connections in your area. So generally, volunteer opportunities have a pretty friendly, low pressure environment as a rule, right? This means that you can have genuine, engaging conversations with people that share your interests. And that's a good thing, right? Without that awkward air of expectations, without finding it difficult to start a conversation because you're already engaging with folks that are like-minded as yourself, right? So chances are you'll make more meaningful connections doing this than you ever have around an appetizer table at a networking event, right? Now, third, it helps you to determine your career goals. Now think about what I just said. I didn't say it helps you to define them. It says it helps you to really find yourself and determine what it is that you want to do. Because now that you found out what you're passionate about, that really is what you should want to do vocationally, right? So donating your time to volunteer is also a great way to gather information and find out a little bit more about what you're looking for in regards to your own career. Perhaps you've always worked for a large company and are curious about what life is like with a smaller nonprofit. Or maybe you're itching to find out a little bit more about what it's like to work for a startup company, right? So beyond company size, volunteering is also a very good way to discover other important tidbits about how you function, right? Do you like working independently or part of a team? Do you enjoy getting your hands dirty, or do you prefer the coordination and administrative tasks, more white collar functions, right? Does working with a certain type of organization make you feel especially inspired and fulfilled? Those are important questions to ask as you find out what type of opportunity really is best for you. Fourth, it allows you to develop and refine new skills, right? So you've mastered your current position, let's just say. And while it's great to feel confident and secure in your job, that doesn't mean that you want to be completely done trying and experiencing new things, right? So when you volunteer, you can try your hand at tons of different skills and tons of different challenges without any threat to your reputation or your current job standing. You're not biting off more than you can chew, right? It's not mission critical stuff. You're trying to help out in a meaningful way, and you might trip, you might stub your toe, and it's okay, right? So whether you've always wanted to dip your toes in the world of coding or wanting to learn more about marketing, volunteering should give you every opportunity to do whatever it is that floats your boat, right? That gives you that passion, that itch that you've been wanting to try. Amen. Lastly, it makes you more confident. Confidence is good, right? An expanded network, increased knowledge, improved skills, all work together to make you a more impressive and well-rounded candidate for whatever the job is. And strolling into an interview feeling qualified and competent, guess what? That's a pretty nice boost to your confidence. Plus, your experiences also give you a new set of talking points to answer some of those common interview questions. A lot of times they're looking for, well, what did you do on this job or that job? Wouldn't it be nice to say, in my volunteering experience, here's how I encountered the scenario that you just raised, and here's how it has made me a better person and will prepare me for the job that we're discussing today. Pretty strong, right? So there is definitely power in giving back, definitely. The reasons people volunteer are many and will vary from person to person. What we do know is that when you find the right fit, you'll enrich the lives of others and your life will be made richer by the experience. And those are both good things. And that's really what we're after. We're looking to help other people, and if we can, we'd like to be helped in the process. Now, we all contribute to the construction of the world in which we live. Don't you want your contribution to one that actually makes the world better? Right? Working towards equality for everyone will make a world that's better for all of us, right? Whether you're a high school student volunteering at a football game, a Girl Scout selling cookies, a senior volunteering at an animal shelter, when your efforts go toward making society better, we all feel better. It's a good thing. It's a win-win situation. So with that in mind, good luck on your search for the right volunteer experience for you. And let me know how your volunteering experience goes. Tell me about the good, tell me about the bad, tell me about the indifferent. But get moving, because you cannot steer any ship that's in dry dock. You can only steer that rudder as the boat's moving. So let's get out of the dock and let's get some positive traction made toward really finding the right volunteer opportunity for you. Now, please join us next week as we take a look at volunteer opportunities in the house of God. Until then, be blessed and be a blessing to others. Good night.